Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Will, and if you're new here, I'm a leather artisan based in Cambridge. Today I'm going to be showing you my 5 favourite leather crafting tools. They're tools that I use every day. They're super helpful in making the best products I can. Let's get started, shall we? Okay guys, so in no particular order, it's the Dream Factory 5-in-1 multi-tool. It includes a burnisher on the end. So there is 1, 2, 3 parts of the end of this, and it can be used for burnishing vegetables and leather. Number 2 is the needle holder. You just unscrew the end from the tube part, and that turns into a tube you can put your needles in. Number 3 is the scratchel. As you can see, you just pull off the end section, and it has this very sharp, I might add, scratchel, as you can see from there. Number 4 is the other end, the opposite end to the burnisher, and it's a edge paint tool. It rides on these 2 very quick, I might add, ball bearings, and allows a very even distribution of edge paint. And number 5 is a hammer thwacker thing, and it's just the end of the opposite end to the edge paint roller is this hammer device, and you can just use it to flatten stitches. I'll be honest, the 2 tools out of here that I use most frequently, and they're probably the only 2 tools I do use, are the edge paint roller and the scratchel. I find them really handy. I like the pen style to the scratchel, and I find the really smooth action to the ball bearing edge paint tool really useful. Number 2 is my Barry King 24-ounce maul. I'm not sure what that is in kilos, I'd have to look it up. I use this literally every day. I find it a really good weight, and I find it very easy to control. You can pick it up from any angle, which I find very helpful, as opposed to a hammer style of hitting device. The handle is made of stacked leather turned down on a lathe with this plastic head that won't damage any of your tools. I've got 2 Barry King mauls, Barry King hitting devices. I've got this one, and I've got a hammer that I use for much heavier duties. And if you're interested to see more about this maul, I've got a video on my channel unboxing it, where I go into greater detail about the construction and where I got it from. But again, I'll leave the link in the description to the shop I bought it from here in the UK. Very easy to get hold of if you're in the US. Number 3 is my KS blade punches. I would consider this to be 1 tool, but I've got, I think it's 5 in total. I absolutely love them. I used very cheap ones in the beginning of my leather crafting career, but I very quickly moved to KS Blade Punch. I've got them in 2 different sizes, as you can see here in front of you, and I consider it all to be sort of 1 tool. The way they're designed is the tooth acts essentially like an awl, so you punch it all the way through the leather, giving you a really nice clean hole. And it has a total punching depth of about 10 mil, about a centimetre is the total punching depth of these tools. I love them, they're expensive, but in my opinion totally worth it. They will last you forever, and if you ever have a problem with them, if you snap a tooth or whatever, which you shouldn't if you use them safely, they'll happily take them back and repair them for little to no money. I don't know exactly how much it is because I've never had to do it, but it's not a lot of money. I use them in several different sizes for different size projects. If I'm doing long straight applications, I'll use the 12 tooth. If I'm just going around a corner, I'll use a 2 tooth, so on and so forth. And I couldn't recommend them enough. Number 4, and I'll stress again that this is in no particular order, is my custom made awl. I've got several awls. I've just picked this one up off my desk because it's the closest one to me. It's the one I use most often, but I have several and I use them all for different things. This one was made for me by a very talented artisan. I will leave his information down below. He is absolutely brilliant. I use it for all of my projects. I use it for pretty much all of my stitching. Even if I punched all the way through with my KS blade punches, I will still open up the holes with my awl. This one's got my logo lasered into it because I wanted it to be. It's got I think it's an ebony, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely certain what wood is in the handle. It's got a brass ferrule and it's got a hand sharpened awl blade on it, which goes through leather. Even if you don't punch through all the way, it goes through leather like butter. It's beautifully made and I use it daily. And at number 5, we've got the BRIDAL fileteuse. I absolutely love this thing. I use it every single time I need to crease an edge or heat up edge paint. It heats up super quickly, reliable. They're the same brand that Hermes uses, that Prada uses, that all of the very large fashion houses use on a daily basis. They leave theirs on all day. They've used them for years. I have it with 3 tips. I've got the S05 tip, which I use for edge paint heating. I have the FN3 tip, which I use for creasing. It's a 1.25mm crease, and I've got the wax spatula for putting wax onto veg tan edges, if that's something that you're into. For a bonus, if you don't have a budget for a heating crease, I would highly recommend getting just a normal manual crease. This one's from Abbey, England. It's slightly larger, it's a 1.5mm. I used it for probably a year and a half, non-stop, every day, and I used it as both a creaser and for heating edge paint. It works absolutely fine. I used mine with a blowtorch. It works fine with the blowtorch. You've got to be a little bit careful not to put too much heat in it, because you don't want to burn it. What you want to do is you want to get it just 3 or 4, probably not even that, 3-4 seconds at the tip of the flame, and that's it. You don't want it any hotter than that. And what I highly recommend doing is having a spare cut off piece of the same leather that you're creasing. So when you cut your pattern out, keep a small amount for either splitting, skiving, or for this, and test it first, because you can very quickly overheat it using your blowtorch. I hope you enjoyed that roundup of my 5 favourite tools in leathercraft. If you want to see an extended list, maybe my top 10 tools in leathercraft, please do let me know. I'm happy to do that, because there's plenty of tools that I use on a daily basis, and it was a very close call whether I was going to include those or these. These are the ones that I chose because I use them more often. There's a huge amount, and I would not have any issue making a top 10 list if that's something that you're interested in, so do let me know in the comment box below.